Islanders, a lot of us have been following this cruise news story of a 14-year-old teenager cruising with his grandmother. The teenager went missing while the cruise ship was stopped in Germany. We will share the story of what exactly happened. The teenager, thank goodness, has been found, but we're going to share with you what the grandmother has said. Could the cruise line be at fault in this situation? We're also going to share news with you today. Bad news for passengers as more and more cruise ports continue to say, we don't want you here. We don't want as many ships. We don't want as many passengers. What could that lead to? We're going to talk about it on the show today. We all need some time in the islands. Let's go there now on Island Time. A big happy Tuesday to all you Islanders. We hope that you're having a great day. We certainly are right here on Island Time. I am Derek. Let's drop our anchors and take some time to relax in the islands together today. Just a few pieces of housekeeping business. First, we are praying for all of our Islanders down there in Texas. I know you've had high winds, you've had a lot of rain and flooding. Many of you had power outages that you've had to work through and live through. We hope that your friends and family are okay. We hope your property is okay and know that brighter days are ahead. The second thing I wanted to mention at the top of the show today, the newest episode of the Cruisers Podcast is now out. Go look it up. We have a YouTube channel, Alex and I, called the Cruisers Podcast. We're talking about how to find the perfect cruise for you, sharing some tips and tricks. Go check it out. And number 3, 1 week from today, Amanda and I and our 2 boys are headed to Europe. We're headed to Rome, Italy to sail on board the Sun Princess. We're excited about that. We are taking you with us. You know how we do things. We pack you in the bag. You're on the carry-on bag. Matter of fact, we hold you in our hand because we have that gimbal. We're sharing all kinds of content with you. Be sure you're subscribed. Ring that bell to receive notifications as we share shorts. We share vlogs. We go live in Europe, flying to Rome, Italy, cruising to Athens, Greece. We have a lot to share with you. Do not miss out. We're excited about that. That trip makes me a little bit nervous, though, especially after the story that I'm going to share with you now. This took place on board the Caribbean Princess, a grandmother and a grandson cruising together. This happens all the time. Amanda and I book a lot of grandparents who cruise with their grandkids. This happens all the time, but what happens in this story doesn't happen hardly ever. The grandson is a 14-year-old teenager. And the 14-year-old teenager made plans on this cruise to meet someone in Germany. Listen to this story. It's pretty amazing. The Caribbean Princess here, this 14-year-old teenager was able to get off the ship, maybe by himself. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But he went missing. The grandmother had no clue where he was. The grandmother, of course, made this aware to officials on the ship. And we're thankful for social media and communication that this teenager, we were able to bring everything to light, and this teenager was found. But the teen went missing on July 4th while the ship was visiting Germany. Surveillance video quickly spotted him at a local train station, but he was there with a stranger, someone else, and that can sometimes give you the heebie-jeebies. That can say, what is this other person doing with this 14-year-old teenager? Is the teenager in harm's way? But right now, please believe that the teenager and this person actually agreed to meet, actually agreed to do all of this. The teen was found over the weekend, Saturday, late at night, 10 o'clock p.m., and investigators shared this. The 14-year-old was accompanied by a 19-year-old with whom he is said to have arranged to meet in Rostock. According to initial findings, there is no evidence of a crime while the investigation still continues. It's kind of scary in today's world how our teenagers, any of us, can meet and talk to people around the world. You can make plans with someone. Hey, I'm going to be in Germany. Yeah, do you want to come with me? It is absolutely crazy, but the teen is now back with his family. The family, of course, is returning home. Princess has a lot to say about this as well. Princess, I'll share their official statement on this, which says, we are delighted that Aiden Brown has been found safe and sound. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to German authorities for their swift response and exceptional efforts in locating Aiden after he disembarked in Germany last Thursday morning. That is scary. He disembarked in Germany last Thursday morning. Who did he disembark with is the big question. Here is grandmother's official statement. Grandma said, to Princess Cruise Lines, an error did occur. You accepted responsibility immediately and stepped up to assist myself and my family. The entourage assigned to stay at my side worked diligently to help remove any barriers in addition to assuring my own health and safety. They have been right there with me wherever and whenever needed these past few horrific days. You can imagine the grandmother, how upset she is. But she points out in her statement there, an error did occur. You accepted responsibility immediately. We don't know 100% what that error is, but the grandmother has also done a couple of other interviews, and it may be that the teenager was allowed to disembark from the ship without an adult. If that's the case, that's not good. And this situation could have been a whole lot worse than this teenager meeting someone that they knew online, going with them, and eventually being found. This could have ended up, guys, way worse than this. If indeed the teenager was allowed to disembark the ship by themselves, Princess, of course, and other cruise lines, this is a time that you look at your measures and you make sure, how do we ensure that those under the age of 18, those under the age of 16, have an adult with them? Because we've all been there to disembark the ship and everyone's excited. You have excursions planned. Your day is ahead of you. You want to go explore. And people just pile off the ship, right? Boop, boop, boop. They just scan those passes and go. They scan it, they look at you, you go. But we got to make sure that our kids are getting off the ship with an adult. I'm sure more information will come out about this, but Princess Cruises was very quick to act. Again, we're thankful for social media. We're thankful for surveillance video. We're thankful that this could be shared so many times and that this teenager could be found. More details will come out about this, and of course, Princess may say, "Hey, here's the root cause of this, and here's what we're doing to try to fix it." But one thing that I want to mention, and I think about these things as literally in 1 week we head to Europe. Parents, be sure that you keep recent pictures that are easily accessible of your kids on your phone. That is at home, that is when you travel, just in case something happens. You have pictures of your kids, not just a picture of their face. You want their body, you want all kinds of different pictures of them that you can share with authorities. At the same time, if there are those who are older and who have memory issues and dementia, things like that, be sure you have pictures of grandma and grandpa just in case something happens. Speak up quickly. If you think something's wrong, speak up. The quicker that you speak up, you can get help when you think something is wrong. If it is indeed wrong, the ball is now rolling and you're trying to do the right thing. You can get the message out there and people can help. And lastly, you can keep track of grandkids and grandpa and children through different means. One thing that we use and that I can encourage you to use as well is technology such as the AirTags. This tag that most people use for their luggage. They put it in their luggage and they can track their luggage wherever it's at. If it's lost, they can tell the airline, I know exactly where it's at. At the same time, you can put these, they make different accessories. You can put it in kids' pockets or in their shoes or something like that, where you can track them via your iPhone. And when you go on trips like this, you might want to include an AirTag so that you can find them in the event that something like this takes place. We are happy to share this news today, that this teenager has been found, and we hope that we don't have to share any other news like that on the show today. Islanders, do you think about some of these things when you travel? Do you think about the worst case scenario? Our minds usually don't go there. We're not that type of person, most of us, where we say, what could happen? But we have to think like that. Share some things that you do, some ways that you keep safe. You keep your home safe, your property safe, and you stay safe on vacation. Let's move on to cruise news story number 2 here. We've seen an increase in this the last year or two of islands and countries saying, you know what, we appreciate cruise ships. We know they mean a lot to our economy, but we don't want them here every day. We don't want the cruise passengers, thousands of people every single day. We've seen it across the world, and certainly that trend continues, and cruise lines are doing the best they can to make these local residents happy while also respecting that they have the right to say what happens where they live. Communities around the world continue to limit cruise ships. How many cruise ships can visit in a day? How many passengers can visit in a day? Residents in Juneau, Alaska recently just took action and said no more than 16,000 cruise passengers in a weekday, no more than 12,000 cruise passengers on a Saturday. And that makes sense. 16,000 passengers in a day, that's a lot, even though the Alaskan season is short. That was just implemented, or passed, I should say, a couple of weeks ago, but doesn't go into effect for a little while. But Juneau is not done yet. The locals there are trying to go a little bit further in limiting how many passengers, if any passengers at all, can visit on Saturdays. Local residents there have enough signatures for a proposal that would limit cruise ships visiting Juneau on Saturdays to 250 passengers or less. Not very many cruise ships at all. Locals have enough signatures here, and it's going to go to the assembly to see if they want to take action, or if they don't want to take action, then local residents can vote on this coming fall. Could you imagine that? Cruise ships with more than 250 passengers would not be allowed to visit Juneau on Saturdays and on July 4th. We'll see if this happens. I don't know. But again, local residents trying to stand up for what they think is right in their communities. They are not the only one in the news, per se. Greece, Santorini, Greece is kind of doing the same thing. Santorini is a very small island, a popular island, a beautiful island. We were supposed to go to Santorini on our cruise next week, but we've had to change ports of call because Santorini was too busy. Now the CLIA, Cruise Line International Association, and leaders from Santorini, they've met in Greece to try to come up with a resolution to say, how can we continue cruising but make sure that your local residents are happy? Santorini has seen a 17% increase in cruise tourism in 2023. That's about 800 cruise ships per year. And while you think that's a good thing, and it is a good thing, it brings a lot of money, of course, to the city, but it also has its challenges, too, of how do you move these people? How do you make sure they have a good time? How do you make sure residents have a life that they want to have as well in a place that's very expensive to live? But I want to put it into numbers for you. Sometimes on these days, there's 10,000 cruise ship passengers in Santorini, an island, in one day. There's only 15,000 residents on the island. 10,000 passengers, 15,000 residents. How can you provide a good experience? How can business provide enough food and opportunities to move you around the city and to go on your excursions and things like that? It puts a strain on local infrastructure. It puts a strain on the way of life for these residents, and they have spoken up. The agreement is going to cap this at 8,000 passengers a day, which is still a lot. Think about that. 8,000 is half of the local residents that are there on the island. Locals want ships to spread out their sailings throughout the week. They want a bidding system. You're going to have to bid on if you want to use our pier, our berth. The highest bidder is going to be able to visit. But that's not all. Of course, we've seen other cities. Venice has put a tax, tourist fee on busy days. Barcelona has taken actions to limit cruise ships. We see this around the world, and cruise lines are responding. If you're wondering why some cruise lines, especially in the Caribbean, are building their private islands, it's for things such as this. It's more difficult right now with cruise ships being built, and the order sheet is long. 2027, 2028, 2029, we'll see. Those years alone, we'll see some of the heaviest investments in cruise ships and rollout of new ships, and that makes us happy, but it presents challenges to cruise lines, and they're trying to do the best they can to find new places to go, to build their private islands. And we may see even in the future where 7-day cruises, maybe you don't have 3 ports of call, maybe you just have 2 ports of call. Maybe you have 3, but one of them is an overnight stay, per se, at a private island. We'll see what cruise lines do here, but the voice of locals is loud and clear. We don't want as many cruise ships. We don't want as many passengers, and we will listen to that. We will, of course, respect that. Locals should be able to govern themselves. Of course, let us visit. We would love to visit and spend our money and enjoy your beautiful city. Islanders, what do you think about this? Do you think locals should have that opportunity to share what they want to happen in their local communities? How do you think that this could change cruising, especially in the next decade? Let us know in the comments section below. We hope that you have a great day today. We can't wait to see your interaction in the comments section. Be sure, if you haven't already, to join our Facebook page. It is so active over there with many posts every single day. It also gives you a forum to share your cruise experience, your pictures, your thoughts, your reviews as well. We'll see you there as well. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Island Time.